Hi, everybody. It's Silent J, and this is Tactical 16 Radio. I've been gone for what it seems like an eternity. I wasn't on last week because of a nasty ass storm. So listen, all you feminist Wiccans out there, stop it with the Mother Nature stuff. I'm tired of her lousing up a show. Okay, last week was awful. Lost the damn power. Lost the internet. I lost everything, and I couldn't do a show. Now I'm here. Now I'm able to do a show. So I'm back. So screw you, Mother Nature. Screw you, all you psychotic, crazy, goofy feminists for trying to bring me down. I'm here, okay? We got 2 hours. I don't have a guest because, you know what, this week I didn't really want a guest. I just wanted to talk to everybody. I wanted to show you the ultimate pleasure of listening to Silent J, okay? So let's start this music up. And we're going to host the show. Okay, and also, listen, the call-in number tonight is something I don't really remember. So I'm going to get the phone number here, and what's the phone number? Hold on a second. That's not it. Here's the phone number. The phone number tonight is 602-399-7787. For all the slow kids in the back, I'll say it very slow. Okay? Get a pen and paper. 602-399-7787. And if you're watching via Google Hangout or Google Plus or YouTube, you can do the Q&A. There's a little logo. You'll see Q&A. You click on that, and you can submit a question. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, but right now, I'm going to get this music started, and we're going to officially start the show. Okay, folks?
Tactical 16 Radio.
Fire in the hole!
With Silent J.
Just like my sexy robotic friend said, this is Tactical 16 Radio with Silent J, and I am Silent J. Before we get to the festivities for tonight's event, I want to tell you just a few quick things. The first quick thing is... Thank you, James. My radio daddy just sent the phone number. It's 602-399-7787. I know one person's watching and or listening. And listen, the reason why you're here is for a couple reasons. So we'll get this stuff out of the way. Why is this stuff so bright? There we go. I needed to change the enhancements. I got that warm enhancement on the YouTube feed now. Listen, check out www.tactical16.com. That's tactical, the number 16. That's the 1 and the 6 for all you slow kids. All right, I've been dealing with slow people for the last 2 weeks now. I got a bunch of soldiers on orders at my unit, and I've just been dealing with the lowest denominator. I would say common denominator because they all have one thing in common. They're all slow, and I'm dealing with it. Okay, listen, all you young soldiers out there, stop being idiots. You can un-idiot yourself by going to tactical16.com. That's tactical, the number 16.com. And what Tactical 16 is a website that publishes books written by veteran authors, okay? Veteran authors such as Chris Hernandez, Justin Jordan, Rob Lewis, soon to be myself, Eric Shaw. Listen, let's not give Eric too much credit. He's also the CEO. I'm not only the president, I'm also a client. I know, you know, he's got that male pattern baldness, but let's not talk about that. We're talking about the books that he publishes that are written by veteran authors for you, not by ghostwriters, not by people that are listening to the author speak or the storyteller speak and typing it. None of that. There's no co-authoring or nothing like that. There's just the service members, the veterans, and a keyboard. I doubt they're using a pen and paper anymore, or what is it, a typewriter? And I got my fingers like this, like I had to jog my mind. See, I'm dealing with slow, dumb soldiers. I had to go like this to figure out that word typewriter. I'm sinking, folks. But I have another hour and 54 minutes to be enlightening you. So I'm not going to sink quite yet. This is not the Titanic, okay? We're not going to mess up here. But anyway, go to tactical16.com, and it's a book written by veteran authors at a reasonable price. They're like under $20. Under 20, not 120. Under $20. You can't ask for anything more than a good book at a decent price. Well, yeah, actually you can. You can ask for something better than that. But that involves a lot of whiskey. A lot of whiskey. I just got a text, and I'm looking at myself. That's really creepy. I get this text, and I look down. It's me on a laptop. Yeah, I got groupies out there. But anyway, go to tactical16.com, and also check out Barnes & Nobles, because Barnes & Nobles, I'm not plugging Barnes & Nobles. I think they stink because, you know, I don't know. There's too many books in there for me, okay? There's too many choices that I don't need to be bothered with, okay? I don't like that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go to one place and have all these books. I want to go to a bookstore that has what I'm looking for. That's why I like those old school bookstores, because they tend to always have what you want. These big, huge bookstores, like, there's a lot of books in there that is completely useless. What's not useless is going into a Barnes & Nobles and finding a Tactical 16 book, okay? And if they don't carry a Tactical 16 book, demand they carry a Tactical 16 book, and they will carry it. There's places, I think, in like California, Florida, Colorado, Pennsylvania. There's a few other states that I think, Texas, that carry, you know, Barnes & Nobles at those states. There's certain locations do carry the books on the shelves. So that's always a good thing. That's A++, all right? What else? Oh, yeah. Behind me right here, you see the logo for VetsOnMedia.com. Go to VetsOnMedia.com. If you're listening to this show, chances are you're either my friend or you are a fan of VetsOnMedia.com. You should be both. Don't just be one or the other. Listen, if you're a fan of VetsOnMedia.com, you should be my fan. And if you're my friends on social networking sites and you're drawn to the show just because of me, do yourself a favor and also go to VetsOnMedia.com, because they have some awesome shows. Not as good as this show, but some ones that are, I mean, if I'm an A+, there's a lot of B+, A- guys. Not Vets on Radio with Adam and James. Those guys are A++. All right, I'm saying that because they're the bosses. And if I say they're C- guys, you know, I will see you later. But those guys are awesome. So their shows are on Wednesday morning, Pacific time. I think it is now 10 to 12. I think it's 10 to 12 on the East Coast. I could be wrong. I try to catch them when I'm at work, but like today I couldn't, just because I had a bunch of stupid reserve soldiers hounding me, you know, telling me, how do I breathe? How do I walk? How do I go to the bathroom? It's like, how did you get this far in life? I shouldn't have to tell you this, but I do. So anybody out there that's a NCO or a senior NCO or an officer with a half a brain, you know what I'm talking about, because then there's the lower enlisted, and the officers without a half a brain. They're the ones, I don't know how to do this. What? Breathe. Like, how are you standing in front of me? How are you alive right now? How are you talking to me without being able to know how to breathe? You need to breathe. You need to take a deep breath and walk away, because I'm about to take a deep breath and drop my foot in your backside. I've been dealing with too many freaking soldiers that are dummies right now, and I'm quite aggravated. I'm not a fan of it. I'm really not a fan of dealing with dumb soldiers. But that's what I've been doing. And I got a few of those dumb soldiers that are listening right now because they wanted to call in. So don't worry. I already gave that phone number out. They're still looking for a pen because they don't have a pen on them. It's part of your uniform. If you're in the military and you don't have a pen on you, you're wrong, okay? You're wrong. You're wrong. Really wrong. It's just annoying. If you're old school, it's in the breast pocket. If you're new school, it's in the sleeve on your forearm. Put pens there, okay? Put pens in there, because you're not smart enough to remember shit. That's why the Army makes you carry a pen, because we know. I could say I'm part of the Army. We know that there are soldiers out there that if you tell them, take this box that's in the square marked with 4 sides, if you take that, pick that up, go across the motor pool and put it in that area that's a big circle, That's a shape without any edges, okay? That's a continuous radial area, a circle, and you put it there. 10 minutes later, and they'll be like, okay, did you write it down? No, I remembered. Okay, 10 minutes later, you come back, the box is still in the square, and they're sitting over in the circle. Listen, I'm really dumbing down the type of things that I tell soldiers to do, but that's the kind of results I get. That really is the result, like square peg, round hole type thing. And what the hell's going on with my mic? It doesn't want to cooperate with me. Tighten up there. Come on, baby. Get in there. Get in the hole. There we go. All right, now it's up too high, but whatever. Listen, Shure microphones, if you want to advertise on here, I'm using one of your mics. I like your mic, okay? I like it so much, I even got one of these fancy cases. Advertise with us. My radio daddies are listening. I need to bring some business in here. All right? Listen, Shure, get off your butts. Because here's the tagline for your advertisement. I'm sure this microphone works for the amount of money I spent on it. If you're a small business owner, a medium business owner, or a large business owner, listen, I am soliciting you. Advertise on the show, okay? It's really not a lot of money. I'm not even asking for a big cut. I just want a little piece, all right? My radio daddies need to eat. So if you own a business, you can advertise at vetsonmedia.com, and you can advertise on the shows like Vets on Radio, Tactical 16 with Silent J, Center Mass with Rob, Silent J. I'm Silent J. And those other shows, I'm not going to name their names. That's my first gripe. We're going old school on the show this week. If you're a fan of me and you've listened to any of the shows I've done over the last, 4 or 5 years, 5 years I've been doing this shit. I used to do a show called The Junk Punch, and I used to just give people junk punches. All right, I used to get aggravated at people, and I used to just give them the I used to give them the proverbial. Damn, man, I just gave a good way to advertise on the show, and now I got the radio daddy in Arizona slinging mud my way. Okay, here, I got somebody, can you see me? Someone's like, I'm on YouTube. So I sent him a message. Can you see me? Listen, what I wanted to get to, this is my first gripe. This is my first junk punch. I listened to a show last week, and I'm a team player. I'm all about talking about other shows, and I'm not saying anything bad about any of the hosts. I like them. I like all the hosts. I've called into No Limits Radio on Saturday morning. They're 2 chicks. I've never met them. I don't know. I don't know if they're nice. I don't know if they're mean. They're 2 chicks. They seem to be pretty cool. They take my phone calls, but every time I talk to them, it's like, you know that one song, it feels like the very first time. Is that by Boston? It feels like it's the first time we're ever talking because it's like, who's this? Hi, it's Silent J. Who? You know the guy that does a show on Wednesday and Sunday? Yeah. I'm tired of being invisible in this damn on this platform of vetsonmedia.com. Check out vetsonmedia.com for all your veteran listening pleasure on internet radio and podcasting. You could also find our podcasts on podbean.com and also iTunes. There you go. Kiss ass. There you go, Adam. Not a kiss ass. I'm a very good businessman. But anyway, listen, sometimes I talk and I feel like I have one of these, another microphone, which if you're watching it, you see, and not plugged in. Sometimes I'm like, I'm just talking. I don't think anybody can hear me. I don't think anybody can hear me at all. So last week there was a new show called That Show. I think it's That Show. Yeah, with another host. I forgot the dude's name. He hosts. I think he's the co-host of JD's Rockin' Sports. It's also a show on Vets on Media. It's a sports show. I called up. No, I didn't call up. I was listening to the show, and they were talking about something, and I posted a picture on the show's Twitter feed, and I was referred to as this guy, Silent J. No, damn it, I'm your colleague, Silent J, not some guy, Silent J. How many people are walking around with the moniker of Silent J? Listen, I am Silent J. Okay? I am Silent J. You could also find me on Twitter at I'm Silent J. But listen, I'm Silent J, all right? just like Wu-Tang Clan. Sound you can't fuck with me because I know my stuff and I plug all these other shows and I don't feel like I'm being respected by the other shows on the platform, which I like them all. I just don't think they're giving me any credit of going around and telling people about the shows. I talk to people all the time about the shows. I talk about my show first and foremost, and then the Vets on Radio show. But then I tell them, listen, if you like sports, there's a sports one. If you like two chicks talking forever, we have that. You know, there's a show, like if you are in need of like, it was the business talk one, there's that. There's a show about guns in the arms room. And then, you know, there's a couple other shows. Always plugging shows. Always telling people the gospel about the other shows on this platform. And then I tweet one of the hosts and they're like, oh, this guy's Silent J. Damn it, I'm not a guy. I'm your damn colleague. I'm not plugging anybody's show anymore, except for Vets on Radio, which you could see on Wednesday mornings or afternoon, depending on your time zone. So go to vetsmedia.com. I'm tired of not being respected around here. See this? I might as well just walk around with one of these. The shit is not wireless. It's not plugged in. Sometimes I feel like nobody's hearing me on this show. So I'm just not going to talk anymore because I'm going to get a sip of water, okay? I need to get something to drink. And then I want to talk about something else. I follow a lot of people on Facebook, like not celebrities so much, because celebrities could, you know, really could kiss my balloon knot. I'm not really into the whole celebrity thing, but I follow polarizing figures or individuals in society or pop culture or politics. I follow politicians. I follow former military personnel that are in the spotlight. I follow a few publishers. Like I follow High Times. Not that I'm condoning drug use or anything like that, but I follow them because I like some of the articles they post once in a while, just to absorb knowledge. I follow the Huffington Post. I follow NPR. I follow Red Eye. That's on Fox. You know, I follow some sports teams. You know, I follow a bunch of different groups. I follow some charity organizations like Western New York Heroes. I think it's Western New York Heroes, WNY Heroes. It's a really good veteran organization. So I follow a couple like restaurants that I like Ted's Hot Dogs, which is in Buffalo, New York, and then also in Tucson, Arizona, the Phoenix Mesa area of Arizona. Best freaking hot dogs in the world. But lately, this one person I've been following, I respect immensely, but I'm also I'm not really a fan of his. The thing is, I follow Alan West, who has done a lot for the veteran community. He's a former lieutenant colonel, or a colonel, I think former lieutenant colonel, also a former congressman from Florida, Alan West. He's like this big, jacked, older black dude. He's got like salt and pepper hair, and he wears glasses. And he's got some cool stuff. Like he does like a lot of stuff for veterans, and you always see him like you know, motorcycle rallies and stuff like that. And I respect the work that he does. Like I follow Montel Williams on Twitter, and Montel Williams follows me back on Twitter. And so I like a lot of different people. I also follow wrestlers, but that's because I never really grew up, and for some strange reason, at the age of 35, I like sweaty dudes in underwear, you know, tackling each other. I don't know. Call me crazy, but that's entertaining in my book. But the thing is, I figure if you're in the public spotlight and if you're in the public eye and you have a lot of people that not only follow you but also listen to you, and the words that you say they take like it's like the gospel, I guess, in a way. I think you have a duty to, not that kind of duty, the duty with the T, duty. You have a duty to put out information that is positive. And if you're going to be negative, then have a very, very valid counterpoint, you know, to your point. If you bring up something like this, what this group does or what this person is doing is negative, all right, that's fine. But instead of just like slinging mud, what you should do if you're in the public spotlight is say, this is negative and this is how it can be fixed. This is why it needs to be fixed. This is the effects that it's having on society. Instead of just being a billboard for stupidity, like some of these talking heads that are on the left side of the political spectrum or the right side of the political spectrum, I really can't stand. I have a ton of friends that are conservative. I have a lot of conservative values. I am very much pro Second Amendment rights. I'm very much pro being able to protect your property, and if some jackass wants to try to jack you for your stuff, just like Wu-Tang Clan, if you have to shoot them, shoot them. There's something else I would do if someone broke into my house, but I don't know. There might be some kiddies watching the show, but like the thing is with being in the public eye, you have a lot of dummies that follow you, So with a lot of the core values that I have that are conservative, like freedom of religion, I'm very pro-gun. I'm very much for every man having his own path and not really using the government as a crutch. It's for voter purposes, which both political parties are guilty of that. Also, there's some things on the left that I really admire, and like freedom of speech, which is kind of eschewed lately. I think people should almost be able to say anything they want, especially comedians. Comedians should be able to say anything they want as long as it's funny. If it's hateful, who cares? There's a lot of race jokes that I've heard in my life coming from black comics, white comics, Latino comics, and it's funny. There's people that are going to be up in arms, but that's it. And then what are some other liberal things? I think pot should be legal. Listen, I'm not a pothead. Listen, I've been in the Army for 14 years. Give me any size cup, I'll pee in it. If you want to go dirty, I'll give you another sample. Give me a bedpan. I'll give you a fecal sample. You could test it all you want. You could take some of my hair. I am clean. I am drug-free. What I don't think is right is the government saying that somebody, one grown adult is telling another grown adult don't smoke pot, but buy cigarettes, buy booze, do all these other things. Live by power lines. It's okay. Live by that power plant. That's okay. That's safe for you, but don't smoke pot. I think that's ridiculous. If somebody wants to smoke weed in their own home, or a smoking bar, like a smoking lounge, I think they should have the right. So there's a lot of things. I'm very much a libertarian, though. I think the government should just leave me the hell alone. I know what the right thing is to do. I'm not going to rob anybody. I'm not going to kill anybody. I'm not going to rape anybody. I'm not going to burn down a church. I'm not going to run over a mosque with a steamroller. I'm not going to do any of that stuff. I'm not going to throw a fishing line in the ocean and catch a dolphin and then beat it to death with a crab that I caught. I'm not going to do any of that stuff. I don't litter. I'm a nice guy. I'm a law-abiding guy. The government should just leave me the hell alone. I'm not that weirdo up on top of the mountain like Krasinski sending Unabomber shit. I like to have fun, and I don't break the law, and I pay my taxes. What you do with my tax money should be used for positive things instead of arguing and trying to handcuff probably 50% of society, because let's just say 50% of society, I would say, teeters on the left, and I'd say about 50% of society teeters on the right. I don't think my tax money should be used to punish or reward either one of those sides. I think my tax money should go to bettering everybody, okay? And not in a socialist, communist way. I think bettering everybody. Good roads, safe bridges, stuff like that. Clean. In southern Pittsburgh, I probably just inhaled a big old dust cloud of fracking gas and burnt coal, so I'm going to die for taking a deep breath. Because Pittsburgh, you're a nice city, but you got some dirty air. Even the colors of your city is dirty. Black and yellow. I mean, every sports team you have black and yellow. I mean, they're good and all, but it's dirty. That's just like dirty colors. It's like Cleveland Browns. The colors of those jerseys Just say, hi, our football team's colors are brown and orange. Nothing about that says, welcome to Cleveland, we're clean. No, our team name is the Browns. Our jerseys are brown, our helmets orange, and we don't win. Guess what kind of city that is? A dirty city, a city you don't want to take a deep breath in, and you definitely don't want to swim in the water. Stuff starts on fire. If you want to be your own version of Michael Jackson in a Pepsi commercial, then go swim in a river, Cleveland, and start your hair on fire. I ain't doing that stuff. I don't want any part of it. But back to my original point is I've been following Mr. Alan West on Facebook, which I like. I like the guy. I think he's a nice guy. I think he does a lot for veterans. That's good in my book, you know, since I am a veteran. And, ouch, I just got bit by something because I'm in a dirty-ass basement in Pittsburgh. What I don't like is his constant pandering to the hardcore right on his Facebook page. Like, listen, I know there's a lot of terrorists out there that are Muslim. I get it. I know you don't like President Obama. Listen, I didn't vote for the guy. I'm not sticking up for him. I get it. I know Alan West doesn't like liberals. I get it. But if you keep pandering to the hardcore side of the right, you're never going to get anybody that's center right, little farther center right, strictly center, or a moderate lefty to ever think about anything you're doing is valid. The same thing with like Chuck Schumer in New York. Nobody in the state of New York that owns a handgun is going to sit down and think, wow, Senator Schumer has a good point, because you keep meandering and playing up to the hardcore extreme side of your base. Stupid. So now I find myself every once in a while getting into these little Facebook wars with people, because when I see stupidity, or when I see somebody in the public eye that isn't using their status in the public eye for positive, only for bashing, that's doing nothing. People say, this country is so divided, this country is so divided. Yeah, it's divided, and you know why? Because everybody's like, blah, blah, blah. Oh, look at my favorite guy. My favorite guy on this side of the political spectrum said this. I'm not going to do any thinking about it. I'm not going to do any investigating on it. I'm not going to do any fact-checking about it, because I like him on Facebook, and what he says, I do. And I'm touching my phone right now because I cruise through Facebook on my phone. So he said it on Facebook. She said it on Twitter. This is the way I have to think. This is the problem with the country. When you have people that only pander to a certain audience, guess what? You're not getting any new information. The only thing you're doing is feeding the stupidity. Like, there's a big ball of fire, and it's the extreme right of politics, and it's the extreme left of politics. And you have people like Rachel Maddow on the left. You have people like Glenn Beck. I'm not ever going to get an endorsement by you. Screw you. Anybody that doesn't believe in drinking or beer or coffee, not good in my book. Hell no. Can't trust a man that doesn't drink coffee. If you are on the religious side of the house and your religion says drinking coffee will send you to hell, I can't be friends with you. I will never be friends with you. All right? And if you're on the other side and you say, I am an evil person for calling a fat person fat, I have no use for you, because guess what? When you see a fat person and you call him a fat person, that's a description. Now, if you see a fat person say, oh, that lazy, disgusting slob, you don't know, that person might have a thyroid problem. But when I see a fat person, I say, hey, that's a fat person over there. Guess what? That's a description. That's not putting down, that's not fat shaming. That's just being very observant. I'm very aware of my surroundings. And if I see fat people, I call them fat people. All right? And I got friends and family that are fat. Don't be sad for saying, for me saying, that you're fat. You're fat. Whatever. You're fat. So what? You're fat. If it's your fault, stop it. Shut your mouth. Literally. Shut your mouth a couple times. Like maybe about 15 times a day. You know, take all that anger you have on me and start running. Instead of being upset, I called you fat. And then the other people, listen, if you think God's going to send you to hell for drinking a cup of coffee, you know what? Do me a favor. Go and make snow angels in the middle of the interstate during rush hour traffic. All right? You can do everybody a favor by doing stuff like that. I'm not being a hateful person. I'm just throwing it out there. Listen, if you're on the extreme right or the extreme left, keep listening to my show. I like you. I'll be friends with you. I'm probably not going to have a debate with you because there's just some things you can't discuss. I need free thinking people to have a debate with or a discussion with, a friendly conversation, a friendly chat. Like my cousin Donnie, he's so far out there, I can never have a debate with that guy. He plays football. Here's the thing. The dude's a football player. He's a wide receiver. And just like Rugged Ronnie Garvin, old school wrestler from the NWA days, he's got hands of stone. Not in the good way. Not like wide receivers should not have hands of stone. All right? But my cousin, he's got hands of stone. The last thing he caught was a cold. And that was intentional. That wasn't even on purpose. He accidentally caught himself a cold. Okay? So, Donnie, if you're out there listening, stop it, man. Stop acting like a wide receiver. You're a cornerback, all right? You know what? You're a big free safety. You play like a free safety on the wide receiver side. Just keep batting down balls. Listen, man, you're not helping your team by batting down balls. You're a wide receiver. You're supposed to catch that shit, all right? Just like the clap. Catch it. All right? Just be like Brandon. Catch the clap. Actually, my cousin said every time I listen to you, you talk smack about me. I just make sure you keep listening to me because one of these days I'm going to say something nice about my cousin Donnie. But I'm going to try to catch his football game on Saturday and go and support Hands of Stone, Rugged Donnie-tron. But back to my point. I keep going off on these little tangents. And listen, we're all adults here, okay? If you don't tell my bosses, I'm not going to tell your bosses. Let's have a drink. Because it's been one of those days. I'm only going to have a little bit because I only have a little bit. So I'm going to grab ourselves a little adult drink, a little sippy sip of some good Kentucky straight bourbon, a very small batch. See, just a tiny bit. Something to sip other than water, which I drink so much water. I drank so much water today. I got home and I didn't want to eat dinner because of where I work. I don't have any AC in my shop. Dude, you want to talk about muggy? Jam. I could have wrung out about 5 liquid pounds of swamp in my underwear when I got home. That's how much I was sweating. And then you go from sweating your ass off all day at work, and then I get into a black car. My car's black exterior, black leather interior. Sat down, steam came out of my waistline. That 5 pounds of swamp-ass water just became. I had enough steam. I could have powered the turbines at Niagara Falls Power Station. It was that steamy. It was gross. It was really gross. So I need a little drink other than water because I drink water to combat the fact that the Army doesn't want to pay for AC in my shop, which is ridiculous. I had cooler days in Iraq, and it's hot as balls there. But anyway, going back to my point, when it comes to somebody like Alan West, for example, stop it. Stop with the stupid stuff on Facebook. You know what? I would love to have, I would love to have Alan West, Colonel West, former Congressman West, because I admire him. I respect him, but I want to ask him, what are you doing? Damn. What are you doing that is helping society? What are you doing that's bringing people together? Because all I see you doing is dividing people. And listen, we have enough division in the society. Okay, it really is ridiculous how divided this country is. I don't know. Some people think they're smart because there's the internet, so they start reading stuff. And it's those same people when you see something absolutely ridiculous on the internet, like that guy that jumped off of a cliff with the GoPro camera and he dove right next to a great white shark. Sorry, folks, I got news for you. That was fake. If you know anything about video editing or sound editing, you'll know right off the back that it's fake. I got a fan out there. Got 4 legs named Barrett. That's a nice name. I bet you $10 that your owner is a fan of Barrett 50 cals. I'm just assuming. So for my first 4-legged friend, Barrett, cheers, buddy. Listen, when your owner goes to sleep, open up that fridge door and get into that bacon because you're a man, and all men deserve bacon. I don't care if you have 2 legs, 4 legs, or some of my favorite adult actors have 3 legs. Hi, Ron Jeremy. But yeah. Listen, and for some people have been upset in the past, like he said he was drinking on the show. You know what? I am 35 years old. I got 14 years in the Army, multiple deployments. I deserve it, okay? So cut it out. Stop being a tattletale, because I don't need my radio daddy or daddies or my book daddy getting mad at me because I'm having a drink. And I had 0 beforehand. I had water, all right? This is just me being pent up for not being able to do a show for 2 weeks. This is what this is. I just want to have a nice conversation, an adult conversation, where I could sit down, grab myself a little drink, and then talk to you people like grown adults. And the main point I'm trying to bring home is, listen, if you're going to put yourself out there in the public spotlight, be positive. I don't mean positive like everybody's got to smile, like you got to walk around and smile all day because you'll have a positive attitude. If you want to walk around all day and be grumpy, that's fine. I come from a family of grumpy people. Most of my family members are grumpy people, miserable people. That's fine. I love them. You know what? I am by nature a miserable person. Just that old song from the 90s. The song from the 90s from Garbage. I'm only happy when it rains. I'm kind of like that sometimes. I need to go at least 3 times a day. I get that anger out. I get that frustration out. I get that grumpiness out. Then at the end of the day, I'm not wound up. I can just sit back, relax, have myself a little drink, maybe watch a little TV, maybe read a little book, maybe play some video games, whatever the case may be. I can do that. So I'm not trying to say you got to walk around and be positive all day. But if you're going to put yourself out there in the public spotlight, be intelligent, okay? Maybe not be positive. Be intelligent. If you're going to talk about doom and gloom, at least talk about doom and gloom when it's factual, all right? Don't be just spewing out talking head, Bill O'Reilly, Rachel Maddow nonsense, okay? Because it really is nonsense on both sides. I'm sorry, if you guys love Bill O'Reilly and Rachel Maddow, I mean, I'd like Rachel Maddow, but that's in a sexual manner, and that's a little bit different of a story. That's fine. You could like those people, but don't just take what you hear on TV by these talking heads, these people with these really huge heads. It seems like most people on TV, other than I think Bill O'Reilly, most people on TV are small, short little people with gigantic heads, like huge domes. Like, in order for you to be on a cable news program, you need to have small shoulders and a big head. As I'm looking at myself in the camera, okay, maybe I have small shoulders and a big head, but I'm not an idiot, okay? I'm a smart person. So just be smart. Don't be like some of these dumbass people you see on Facebook. Like these people that just kiss up, to a certain demographic of, political sides. It's so dumb because I go on there and I'll see something and I responded today, like, he said something about all terrorists being Muslim or something like that. And my response was, it just plainly was, Yeah, here's a list of Christian terrorist organizations. Some of them are ancient. Let's listen. There is not one religion out there that is free of blood on their hands. All of them, even peaceful Buddhists out there, they got blood on their hands. All right. The fact of the matter is that all religious groups have some kind of blood on their hand. They got a couple massacres under their belt. I don't know why. Maybe it brings you closer to God when you wipe out a whole nation of people. Maybe I'm off. Okay. Maybe I'm not going to heaven because I didn't kill people. Freaking, I guess Barrett's all messed up. Barrett, I'm messed up too. I don't get it, man. There's so many groups. I wonder if dogs have that problem, you know? Like Barrett, for example. Does Barrett have that problem? Does he sniff a tree like, ah, man. That idiot French poodle keeps retreating and pissing on my tree, and I'm like, or like he smells. Oh, there's that over-aggressive right-wing pit bull. Ow. Oh, well, that's bad, But I look at, what was I saying with the political side? Oh, I was saying, I just pointed out that, listen, there's a lot of religious groups out there, and all of them, whether it's from hundreds of years ago, whether it's from 1,000 years ago, recent, currently, or 40 years ago, all religious groups out there got their fanatics, and all religious groups out there have some blood on their hands. I told them, instead of focusing on one particular group and talking about what they've done, why don't you talk about ways to fix it? Why don't you talk about being a little more positive? Instead of just saying, look what these Muslims did in Nigeria, look at these terrorists, let's just put not Muslim. Look what these terrorists did in Nigeria, who are Muslim and are using their religion for a jumping point to murder people and kill people. Why don't you talk about, okay, this is how we could fix it? Because I think when it comes down to it, I think you can be fixed if you're stupid. If you come from a society, I mean, look at Germany, for example. What was it? 70 years ago, 75 years ago, 80 years ago? I mean, Germans, they were slinging lead and blood everywhere, killing people everywhere. They wanted to kill everybody. Okay, you couldn't get much more fanatical than Germans. Whether they did it because they were fanatics, or some of them did it out of fear, or some of them did it out of hatred, they did it out of evil. When it comes down to it, they were evil. Look at what one of our allies is. One of our biggest allies in the world is Germany. You took a group of people that fought in a world war, got their asses handed to them, and 20 years later said, you know what? I think we can do this again. But this time when we do it, we're going to kill everybody. We're just going to wipe everybody out. I mean, if we could get through to them, I mean, we really had to crush their guts to get through to them. But if we could get through Nazi Germany, I think we could get through to any group out there. Because look at what Germany was fighting for. A short dude with a really shitty comb over and a little baby mustache. That's who they were fighting for. If you could get a whole group of very intelligent people, because look at Germany at that time. They had the best scientists in the world, okay? They had some of the most brilliant minds on the face of the earth. If we can, in as little as 70 years, if we can, in 70 years, take a group that just try to kill everybody, and in particular, one group, they really kind of focused on one group. Not gonna get into it, but I think if you know anything about history, you know the Germans. There was one group they really didn't like, and they murdered a lot of those people, a lot of the chosen people. All right, if they did that, And we could turn around and in 70 years make them one of our friends, one of the people that went and fought with us in Afghanistan. If we could take a group that wanted to kill everybody and 70 years later kind of calm them down, tame them, dress them up a little bit, clean them up a little bit, and say, okay, you know what? I trust you enough to grab a gun and come fight with me. If we could do that with Germany, I think we could do that with everybody. I really, really do. I mean, look at Ireland. You had Protestants and Catholics just throwing pipe bombs at each other like it was a hobby. That was a hobby. Like, what are you going to go do today? I think today I'm going to go play some soccer. What else am I going to do? I'm going to go get a couple pints of beer, and then I'm going to go throw a pipe bomb at that dude's house because I don't like the way he prays. Even though we pretty much pray the same exact way. I don't like the way he prays. So I'm going to go play soccer. I'm going to go have a couple pints of beer, and then I'm going to go throw a pipe bomb at my neighbor because he likes orange and not green. And I think he's ridiculous. I think he's stupid. You know? I mean, that's how ridiculous the shit was in Ireland. I mean, okay, I know it was a little more serious than that, but when it came down to it, it's like, that dude looks exactly like me, sounds like me, drinks the same beer as me, enjoys the same sport I do, wears the same clothes I do, smells just like me, because if you've ever been to Ireland, you know they do smell. There's never been a good odor that come out of Ireland. Name one good perfume or food. Does Ireland have a food that you could go like this, like, oh, that smells so good? No. Usually you look at it like, that's going to fill me up. Like, Ireland, the odor of their food is the shape of women compared to, like, you know, like France. Like, France got a lot of good smells. Like, their food smells good. Their perfumes smell good. They got some good-looking women. Ireland, just a bunch of meaty broads out there, and dudes throwing pipe bombs and pints back. That's it. And now look at Ireland. They're calm. They called a truce. You know, no more fen-fen, or NRA rather. There's fen-fen. That's the political side of the NRA. Why can't we do that with anybody? Why can't we do that with that dude with the shitty name in Nigeria? What is his name? Bobo or Boko? Buku? Boko? That's why he's going around kidnapping people and killing people. If your dad named you Boko, wouldn't you be a little pissed off too? And you grew up to be big and people feared you? Yeah, you know, there's no telling what you're gonna do if your dad gives you a really shitty name like Boko or Buku, whatever. Count Dooku. Yeah, he was the runner-up to the bad guy name for Star Wars. Dooku won out. Boko, not so much. I don't even know if that dude's name's Boko. It's because I don't watch the news anymore to where I know how that dude's name's pronounced, that terrorist guy in Nigeria. I don't know how his name's pronounced. I just know what it looks like. I think it's B-O-K-O. But anyway, listen, you just sit down, and I'm not saying that if you sit down with people, you know, everything's going to be smoothed over. But we don't sit down with anybody. Like, people say, like, oh, there's going to be talks, there's going to be this. No, there's some stupid stuff going on. You know, there's and stuff like that. So when it comes to the political side of things, I think if you're going to sit down and talk to your enemy, like, let's take, for example, the British government is going to sit down with Al-Qaeda and say, listen, we want to figure out how we can get you to stop blowing people up and to stop killing people. What do we have to do? Okay, you want to talk? Okay, we'll talk. We can talk. I'm the United Kingdom Prime Minister, and I'm going to sit down with the head of Al-Qaeda, and we're going to talk, and we're going to come up with a solution. Now, to make sure everything is on the up and up, you put that shit on Skype. Okay? That's what you do. You put it on Skype. You go on Skype. I'm on Skype right now. All right? And if you want to call in, you could call in our Skype phone number. And you know what the Skype phone number is? I'll tell you what the Skype phone number is. The Skype phone number is 602-399-7787, and you call up. You could add on to the show. If you want to take away from the show and just call up and be a mouth breather or a waterhead, you can do that too. That's fine. But call up the show if you'd like at 602-399-7787. But the point I was trying to make with Skype, if you're going to have a world leader sit down with a terrorist group or any kind of group that's up to no good and wants to do harm to people, like, okay, listen, we'll talk and we'll see how we can smooth things over. But we're not going to do any backdoor dealings or anything like that. We're not going to have any mediators. It's going to be, I'm the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and I'm going to sit down with the head of Al-Qaeda in Pakistan and Afghanistan. We're going to sit down just so there's no secrets, and so everybody knows that I'm not bullshitting you and you're not bullshitting me. We're going to put this on Skype, and we're going to put this on YouTube. We're going to put this, listen, you could download it and listen to it. You know, we'll air it on vetsonmedia.com. You know, we're going to have the whole world see, and we're not going to talk in circles. We're not going to come up with stupid BS. You know, we're going to talk. You're going to say A, B, and C, this is why I don't like you, this is why I want to kill you. And I'm going to say A, B, and C, this is why I can't let you kill people. You know, no fake backdoor dealings. Just straight up. Just straight up talking, man to man. I think you could get a lot done man to man. Because listen, there'd be some like crazy dude that wants to beat your ass, and say he knows that you could most likely get the better of him. He's still gonna try to fight you anyway. But if you tell him, like, listen, dude, if we fight, this is exactly what's gonna happen. This is what I'm going to do to you, and I'm gonna make sure I go through with it. He might want to sit down and be like, okay, now listen, little crazy dude, why do you want to beat me up? Why do you want to fight me? Why do you want to do some damage to yourself? Why? And chances are that dude might sit down and be like, listen, I really don't want to get my ass kicked, but I can't stand you. I don't like you. You know? Talk about it. Let the whole world see, you know, a debate and a deal you're going to make with somebody. I think why doesn't Putin do that with the president of the Ukraine? Sit down, have an interpreter, let the whole world see. Let's see why Putin wants to take over the Ukraine. Let's see what Ukraine has to say. You know, back to that. I got a caller. Hey, caller, how you doing?
Yeah. What's up, man?
Not much.
Hey, I'm listening to your show, and I like it a lot. I was just, I think you need the co-host.
No, I have a show on Sunday night from 10 to midnight.
Well, then I should
Eastern.
be that man. I should be your co-host, man, and he needs to be black. I'm just saying. You would call me the Black Hammer. You know, I just come in, I just crush bitches. You know what I'm
saying? I don't want a hammer doesn't crush. A hammer.
Yeah, a black hammer does. Just ask all the white bitches that put wheelchairs, man. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right. Why? Okay. Give me 3 reasons other than your ability to be a home improvement tool. Give me 3 reasons why I should have you as my co-host.
Let's see. I'm connected. I know the urban. I know the streets really well.
Okay. I grew up in the ghetto, so.
I drink Cristal, and bitches adore me.
I don't drink that. And listen, shows like Rosie O'Donnell had a majority of her listeners were women. Martha Stewart Radio, majority of her listeners were women. They're both canceled. I gotta kind of have the whole audience. So.
See, but we can like go out and do like what do they call those broadcasts where you like go out to a place but you're not like really in the studio. You know what I'm saying?
Live in the studio?
No, you're not like in the studio. Like you're like at a bar or some shit. You know?
Oh, live on location?
Yeah. Location. We go location. We go like the chili bar. I can put like nipples and stuff in my mouth.
A vocal aspect, a vocal angle to radio. TV you can do the video thing, but for radio you got to have the audio aspect of keeping people's attention.
So you're not capturing people's attention. Is that what you're saying? So that's why you need a co-host so I can come and help you. Just cover down and collect all those people. Are you because I'm black? Is you racist? Is that what the problem is?
No.
You're the piece of shit, man. I'll come over. I'll fly to Pittsburgh. I'm in Florida. I'll fly there to kick your ass.
You're in Florida?
Motherfucker.
Where in Florida are you?
I'm in Tampa, bitch.
You're in Tampa?
That's right.
What part of Tampa?
I'm in fucking Ybor City, Tampa.
Oh, okay. Old Tampa.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I got these Cuban hoes. They be loving me. So, but you racist, man. I hear you. I hear your voice. George Bush voting, motherfucker.
I never voted for Bush. You're way off.
All right, well, fine. I got you know what? If you're not gonna let me be your clothes, I'll say just 2 pieces of biscuit. I'm out, bitch.
All right. That was entertaining. I got a chance to stretch Ybor City. I don't know who that was. I don't need a co-host. It's Tactical 16 with Silent J. Not with Silent J and... Yeah. By the way, who eats 2 peas in a biscuit? If you eat 2 peas in a biscuit, I don't want you as a co-host. You don't sound like you have a well-rounded diet. I need somebody with a well-rounded diet to be my co-host. But listen, what I wanted to do... Oh... I know what I need to do. I need a charger. I need a charger for my phone. I need a charger. There we go. I need a charger. Because I have a thing on my phone. I didn't save it. Oh, I got another phone call. Hi, caller. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, you got the 215 number. You got to turn down the volume on your computer or laptop or whatever you're listening to.
Okay. Is that better?
Yep. What's your name?
Bill Copeland.
Bill, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. What you got for the show?
Oh no, I just want to discuss about that last guy that called you. Like, he wasn't even left, or he wasn't even right. He's out in outer space somewhere or something.
Yeah, I don't really know. He sounded like he had a lot of sexual issues. Am I wrong for saying that?
No, it sounded like that to me, and it definitely sounded where he was wrong getting off saying that you're racist. He should have talked about how he shouldn't be mad at you. Your last name's Stoic. That's like a Polish name.
Yeah, it's Polish, Ukrainian.
He's mad at all the Smiths and Jones and all them.
I should be mad at what?
At all the Smiths and Jones. They're the ones who are the racist ones. All the Johnsons.
Oh yeah, using one of my lines. Yeah, I got an old line or something I used to say all the time. I talked to a guy named what was his name? Rap Monster, Lil D. He was a racist rapper from Atlanta, and he said he hated all white people. And I said, my last name is Stoic. There's nobody walking around of a different color with that name. You see people named Smith, Johnson, Jones, James, Jackson. They might have had a sketchy past like maybe 175 years ago, 180 years ago. Not a dude with a silent J in the middle of his name. So, anyway, what do you got? You got a topic you want to talk about?
We can talk about how you were talking earlier. You have 14 years in the military. What have you seen in your 14 years that has changed since you first joined? Like different regulations, how soldiers are treated, and how soldiers should be treated. Because honestly, in my short 3 years in the military, I can't even believe that it's still the same military that like my grandfather would talk about or my uncles would talk about, saying how like the military's tough and it'll make you a stronger person. And then now whenever I'm in the military, I see people that they'll cry if you yell at them the wrong way.
Yeah. Well, there's two things that I've seen change in the military. One, they don't use powdered soap in the shower anymore, so there goes the fun of shower time. And and two, it's I think the society we live in, the culture that we have now, I forgot what this generation's even called, but this everybody gets a participation trophy, is ruining the military, because when people join the military now, when I joined, I mean, I wasn't even in like the old school badass days, you know, of like the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s of, you know, getting the snot kicked out of you in basic training, or, you know, or boot camp or anything like that. You know, we had overly aggressive drill sergeants, but nothing to where it was like, oh, I need to go home, you know, I'm gonna piss my pants. Now, like, we're trained in the Army, and the Air Force is probably the same in the Navy and stuff. We're trained in the Army as leaders, to be nice to soldiers. You know, part of our yearly training is how to be nice, how to coddle people, how to really care about their feelings. Here's the thing. I don't care about anybody's feelings, because like part of the job is like, you took a job in the Army. One of the side effects of this job is you can die. That's one of the things. Like, if you get a job at McDonald's, like, the worst thing that's going to happen, you might dip your finger in the deep fryer, or if you're a garbage man, you might get some nasty garbage juices on your clothes. Like, part of the side effects of joining the Army is like, okay, you take this job, you got to do this, 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 and that. You'll get a nice uniform. You get this and that. You'll drink PBR and be with big chicks in Georgia. You also might die. If you do your job to its fullest, and we expect a war, and you go overseas, you might die. So having a job where one of the side effects is death, I don't think I should really care too much about people's feelings.
I can understand that point of view. Has there ever been a point, like, where in your military outfit, where you just threw that logic out the window and just had to, you know, tell someone what it really is?
Yeah, I do it all the time. I don't really coddle the people's feelings and emotions. I'm not Dr. Phil. I'm not a counselor. I'm not going to sit down and tell you, listen, baby boy, it's going to be okay. You just get back out there and you keep fucking up at your job, and it's okay. I love you just the same. I don't like that anyway. I don't like that at all. I think if I tell, like in my instance, and I know there's a lot of NCOs and senior NCOs out there listening, if I tell a soldier, you have to do this, I don't want to hear, well, why do I have to do this? Well, because I told you. Whether it sounds asinine or not is a mute point for you. I had E5s, E6s, E7s tell me, go do this. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, that's the dumbest fucking thing in the world. All right, but I'm going to do it. I don't ever tell anybody something to do that is extremely disgusting, and I won't tell them to do something that is extremely dangerous in a non-combat environment. Now, if we're in combat, I tell you, you got to run over there. Oh, by the way, you might get shot. Guess what? You might get shot. But I would do it. I'm not going to tell anybody to do anything I wouldn't do. I've done everything that I tell people to do. And when they look at me like, but there's this, I'm like, no, stop with the damn response. I want soldiers that don't respond back. I just want to hear yes, and then have the job done. That's it. I'm not a terrorist. I'm not a terrorist. I'm not a tyrant. I'm not an evil tyrant at work. I used to be. Not anymore. Soldiers nowadays, you tell them to do something, and they give you the 4-year-old effect. Why? 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 It's like the seagulls in Finding Nemo. Mike, 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 Mike. It's like, shut up. Hey, Mike, 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 shut up.
I think, you know,
I hate dudes
with
named
the
Mike.
way that we have leaders and show these people, you know, like the coddling effect. I mean, I think a lot of the respect goes out the window, because then they start to feel like, you know, they're more friends instead of, you know,
and that's
people under you.
I'm guilty of being friends with my soldiers. I love being friends. I love being a friendly guy. I'm not too big on the whole, like, you know, stand at parade rest when you talk to me. Like, if there's nobody around, I'm Silent J, or I'm Jay, or I'm Joe. You know, if I give you that courtesy to call me by my first name, that means I like you. If there's other people around, and say I'm with a bunch of other NCOs, and someone goes in and an E3 walks in, hey, Joe, I'm like, dude, you just fucked up. You know, stuff like that. I like being friends with the guys. I've never had a soldier say, I hate that guy. I hated working for him. He was a prick, and he was unreasonable in his expectations. You know, I always have soldiers like, oh, damn, dude, that dude's cool as hell. You know, but you know, I also expect people to work for me, and I hate I hate society nowadays. I'm sure there was a soldier that had NCO that had 14 years in when I had 1 year in or 2 years in, and just shook his head like, this dude's fucking lost. I was lost when I had a year or two in the Army, but I worked. I worked my ass off, you know, and I didn't really question stuff too much. I'd roll my eyes, but um, oh, I just got a message about something. Oh well, you know, I don't want to coddle soldiers. I think that's stupid. Like if I see somebody crying, like listen, dude, this isn't the time or the place to be crying. The only time you should be at work crying is if you found out your grandma died in a very horrible, you know, accident that involves like a sex swing. That's the only time you should be crying at work. You know, you shouldn't be crying at work. I don't like when people cry at work. That's ridiculous.
I have another topic for you. You were earlier in your show about part of that percentage of people that are allowed to smoke marijuana if it becomes legal.
No, I don't, because we have a problem with soldiers trying to doing PT now. Um, listen, a lot of my friends are stoners. I don't really see too many of them being like, oh man, I'm going to work out all day. I have some enlightened stoner friends that love to work out constantly and are very healthy and very fit. But your average E2 that doesn't like to do push-ups or sit-ups, you give him a joint, guess what? He's really not going to want to do a push-up or a sit-up. Because if I had a joint, the last thing I'd want to do is like, you know what, I'm going to smoke up. Right after I smoke up, I'm going to go do some sit-ups. Hell no. Listen, right after I smoke up, I'm going to go play Ghost Recon and make fun of 12-year-olds as I kill them all night long on my Xbox. That's what I want to do.
Well, under that same aspect, and with alcohol being, it's usable if you're in the military. I mean, unless you're on orders or something, but there's people that use alcohol. You think that there should be alcohol restrictions on people who fail PT tests, like they should be put on like a dietary plan if they fail PT tests, and not just like, hey, you're getting counseled and you better start working on your PT, but there's going to be no follow-up, especially with soldiers that are in reserves.
No, because alcohol is an integrated part of the military, and some of my hardest working soldiers were drunks. So, but yeah, no, I know what you mean. I think if you have a problem with PT and you can't pass your sit-ups, you should probably lay off the beer. If you're a beer drinker, you should just lay off the beer. I think so, the hardest working soldiers are the soldiers that come in drunk or hungover, because they know, like, if you go into work drunk or hungover, you can't hide it. You could kind of like mask the smell of your breath, or you can mask the odor that's coming out of your body, or use some Visine to mask, the bloodshottiness in your eyeballs. But when it comes down to it, you show up to work drunk, you know that your boss knows that you're drunk. Like, if I have a soldier come in that's drunk or hungover, I know they're drunk or hungover because I've done that. And you know what? That's fine. Come in drunk or hungover. I also expect you to do the most work because you're drunk or hungover, and I understand. I've been there. So listen, I'm not going to say anything to you. I'm not going to yell at you for your intake of alcohol and your party you needed the night before, but I expect you to do more work than anybody, especially like if they're like a nerdy sober dude. I expect you to do way more work. And if you can't stand up straight, I'll give you a lot of work to do when you sit down. So yeah, I think drunk soldiers are really what drives mission completion in the military.
You're saying work hard and party hard, huh?
Hell yeah, that's what I did, and look where I am. Oh yeah, I'm in a basement in south of Pittsburgh, talking to a microphone, looking at myself on a camera. Okay, maybe you shouldn't listen to a fucking thing I just said.
I'll take that in mind. But no, with the PT aspect, you know, some of my friends that are soldiers that are in my unit, you know, I actually have friendships with them on the outside, and one of them failed their PT test, and like, you know, like,
make fun of them.
Friends, but dude, you're a fucking failure. Like you know, if you put on that uniform, you should be able to meet the standards in every aspect, and we shouldn't have to lower ourselves or hold their hands until they can actually pass a PT test. It's just ridiculous that, you know, you sign a waiver, you know you sign up for something, you know this is what you should do, and then you can't do it, you can't perform, and then that same person turns around and takes away the same pay as I do, the same responsibilities, gets the same, you know, looks on the street, and, you know, a handshake, thank you for your service, and they can't even do a damn sit-up.
Yeah, I had, in my last unit, I was the acting first sergeant for a year, and the last PT test I took at the unit, which also happened to be the last month that I was the acting first sergeant, and the last thing that I said to them as the acting first sergeant was, I've had this job for a year. I think I did a lot of positive things. I think I helped this unit in a lot of ways, and I think there's quite a few things that I did that were successful in helping the unit. Apparently there was something I didn't do, was teach you guys how to do PT. I'm not the pillar of strength when it comes to physical fitness. I know what I have to do, and I do it. I used to do a lot more. As I get busier, I tend to find reasons to do less physical, strenuous workout activities. But I could pass a PT test on the drop of a dime any day of the week, any state of mind, whether it's drunk, sober, sick, tired, or whatever the case may be. Because what I told them was, listen, all you guys out here, and it happened to be all the soldiers that were late teens and 20-something soldiers, everybody that was over the age of 30 passed their PT test. Everybody under the age of 30 failed their PT test. If you're a young soldier out there and you failed your PT test, the best thing that you can do is find one of those towers, a cell phone tower, climb to the top and do a swan dive right off of it. That's the best thing that you can do. In my mind, metaphorically speaking, don't really do it. Metaphorically speaking, you hinder everybody. Because I told everybody, like, listen, I am full-time in the Army. I have a job on Friday and Saturday nights working the door of a bar until closing time. I'm a single parent. I have a cat. I have a dog. I have a really messed up relationship right now. And really messed up girlfriend. I have a really messed up relationship right now. I have a drinking problem. I don't eat that healthy, and I also host 2 radio shows. If I could do all of that in the course of a week, why can't you guys pass a PT test? If I could do all that in the course of a week and then show up with like 4 hours sleep because I was working at the bar the night before, I could show up, I could pass a PT test, you know, I think I got like a 220 something, 230 something, not that big of a score. But if I can do that with all those activities I got going on, what does that say for you? Why aren't you doing it? I had like 2 or 3 soldiers crying. Like, I really made people cry because I'm like, you know why? Look at yourself in the mirror. If you're going to blame anybody, don't blame me. You look at yourself in the mirror and you see a fat, lazy, disgusting slob, guess what? You made that fat, lazy, disgusting slob. So the only person you should be mad at is that fat, lazy, disgusting slob looking back at you in the mirror. Don't be mad at me because I've showed you how to be busy and how to do it. You look in the mirror every day and you find ways to get uglier and fatter and less healthy and less productive. And then you wonder why you don't get promoted. And I go, I don't get promoted because I say stuff like this, very honestly. And that was my final words as the acting first sergeant. And yeah, I had some people crying, and a lot of those people were my friends. You know, I had one person in particular crying their eyes out. Was a very close friend of mine, but it is what it is. So if you're a brand new soldier and you're failing a PT test, metaphorically speaking, you should do a swan dive off of a cell phone tower. Yeah.
Yeah. Earlier in the show, you were talking political views and people being left and right, and you know, you made a comment such you know, like people that follow politics or you know, being so one-sided, and you know, there's also people out there that are just skeptical to everything, and you know, that's a frustrating aspect of like, where like you're talking about, you can't debate some people just because, you know, they won't ever let you win, you know, or ever be open-minded to what you're trying to tell them. But then there's also skeptical people that can take a really valid point and just turn it into some anarchy bullshit that doesn't make no sense. And you know, those people.
Oh yeah, the anti-government people are just as bad. Listen, I'm at nature. At its core, I'm a old school punk rocker who a lot of my friends, you know, like anarchist, anti-police type of friends. I don't have their same views. I understand why some people don't want the government at all, you know. But I tend to believe, like, people that hate government, you could have a better, let's just say people that don't want a government, you could have a better discussion, a little bit more of an open dialogue with somebody about government than somebody who's a huge supporter of government, whether they're on the left and the right or the right. Those people, you can have less of a discussion because they're so entrenched in their side. Because I feel as if you have somebody that feels like they're being attacked, say I say something negative about the far left, and I'm talking to somebody who's a supporter of the far left, they don't take it as I'm attacking the far left. They're taking it as I'm attacking them. So they feel as if the only way they can get out of it is to defend themselves by offending me. Like, they feel like if I say I don't like Senator Dick Durbin in Illinois, nobody should like a dude named Dick Durbin, by the way. But if I say something negative about Senator Durbin, I'm not saying anything negative about his supporters. I'm saying something negative about Dick Durbin, or Barbara Boxer, or Chuck Schumer, or Governor Chris Christie, or whatever, whoever. Yeah, Mario Cuomo, not Mario Cuomo. Yeah, is it Mario Cuomo now? It's Cuomo in New York, but not Mario, his dad, the governor. If I'm saying something negative, I'm not attacking you. I'm attacking the person that you voted for. I don't have anything against you. So people take it very personal. Like they have something. Like what you did all you did was take a 10-minute drive in November to a polling station. You didn't do too much else. I'm not attacking you for driving on a really shitty day in November. I'm just saying that the person that you voted for may not be, the best person for the job, whether, whoever's side, that person's on, whether the left or the right. I just don't like when people are extremists on either side, because you can't really deal too well with extremists, you can't.
There's like people that are just extremists in stupidity, like your last caller, who you weren't even attacking him, his race, or his color. You just told him that the demographic of people that you want to listen to your show is everybody. And he's like, why are you saying that? Because I'm black? And I was just like listening along, and I just couldn't help but chuckle to myself, because like people like that, there's no talking to someone like that. And he couldn't host the show because the only thing he wants to discuss are his views. You need to have someone that has an open mind. And what does being a black hammer or girls liking you or anything have to do with any type of view other than his own? That guy, to me, that guy was an idiot, because all it was, I don't just want a certain demographic of people listening to my show. And he's just like, what, are you racist?
Yeah, I thought that guy was Korean, actually. I don't know. Whatever. He sounded Korean. He sounded like there's a MMA fighter. That's from Korea. That sounded like him. That's why I thought he was Korean. Oh, I forgot that dude's name. The Korean Zombie, I think his nickname is. Nah, whatever. Doesn't matter. I do like their food though. I'll tell you that much. But I'm going to. Oh, by the way, how old are you? By the way,
22.
You're 22. Okay, I'm going to let you go, but I have a bit that I'm going to do for about the next 15 minutes. I'm going to hang up with you in a second here, but you can listen in. I was reading about this the other day, and it made me sad because it was a list of things that turned 30 years old this year. I felt old because I'm 35. So, and you're 22. Wow, that means I literally have stories of physical enjoyment by myself as old as you. Older than you. Well, yeah, older than you. Damn. It's creepy. But anyway, thank you for calling, and listen in every week. And Sunday night from 10 to midnight Eastern Standard Time, check out Center Mass with Robin Silent J. Okay?
Roger that. It was a pleasure talking with you, Silent J.
Oh, thank you. You too. Oh, that guy was long-winded. No, I'm joking. I like fan interaction. But I'm going to have a drink because another little drink. I'm not even done with this one. I still have that, but I'm just going to put a little bit more. Just a little sipper. This is really all I'm good for the night. 30 things that turned 30 years old this year. And like I said, I wasn't so upset. I realized, like I said, when I turned 35 last month, I'm now officially closer to 70 than I am 0. So that kind of whatever. I'm getting old. I'm going to die. We're all going to die. Eventually, none of this is going to be here. The sun's going to become a greedy bitch, and the sun is going to blow up and get bigger and bigger and swallow up Mercury, swallow up Venus, swallow up the Earth and the Earth's moon, and then it's going to swallow up Mars. That's just the way it is. That's what's going to happen to everything and everybody. So for everyone saying, oh, this is a historical treasure, we got to keep it. We got to keep it and make sure everybody can see this in the same state forever. Like, listen, dude, you do realize one day the sun's going to eat that bitch, all right? So don't worry about that little house in the middle of nowhere. Like, do you realize that this was the first house that was ever built in this valley? Back in 1814. This is the first house, and now you want to bulldoze it for a Target? Like, hell yeah, dude. Because you know what? I can't buy all the necessities I need for my house in this house. But a Target, that shit'll help me. I can go to a Target, I can get everything I need for my house. Okay? I can't buy anything out of a house that was built in 1814. See, this is the original walkway of the original owner. Like, so what? You know what? And guess what? 1,200 years ago, see that spot for the original walkway in the house? Guess what? An Indian took a squat right on that same exact spot, and possibly a deer. So there's been a deer, a woolly mammoth, and an ancient Native American that all took shits on that historical walkway. How historical is that now? I love architecture. I'm a huge fan of architecture, and I love preserving historical buildings. But there's just sometimes you got to say enough is enough. You know, if it's like an ancient temple in Indonesia, or it's a cathedral, you know, from the Dark Ages in France, and you want to say that's great. Or if it's like a Frank Lloyd Wright building, that's great. But just some dude's cabin in the woods, like, what is that doing? Why is that even still here? Shouldn't that be covered in moss? Like, that's when you hope that there's like an earthquake and just flattens out those old buildings like that. You know, because there's a time when old is just too old. And like, I'm a young old right now. When I get to an age where old is too old, then then I might panic. But right now I'm not hitting the panic button. I wasn't hitting the panic button until I read about this article the other day, 3 days ago, I think I read this. I am like the less talented, longer-winded Dave Letterman. He's got the top 10 list. I got a top 30 list. He used to play with his pencils all the time. I'm sure that went over people's heads that are younger than me. Anyway, things that turned 30 years old this year. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are now 30 years old. The first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic book went on sale in 1984. The pizza-eating, crime-fighting ninjas were the brain turtles of artists Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman, who began a tiny publishing company out of Laird's living room. And the duo also used to touch each other. That I can't believe it says that in the article. That's insane. But yeah, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are 30 years old. Another thing that's 30 years old, Tetris is 30 years old. I got my grandmother addicted to Tetris on the old school Game Boy back in the day. This was like the late 80s, early 90s. Not sure what year it was. 1990, maybe? Around 1990. How old was my... Yeah, it had to be around 1990. My grandmother... my grandma Bernie became addicted to Tetris on the Game Boy. It got to the point where it was like, Grandma, I want to play. Ow! I have one more life left. Like, I know for a fact that you're lying, but I can't really say anything too bad about her because that's my grandma. I love her. God rest her soul, but she became addicted for a small amount of time to Tetris. Another thing that is 30 years old, The Cosby Show. People around the world love The Cosby Show, but for whatever reason, the Deep South, still not a fan of The Cosby Show. I don't know why. It's just something about black people being on TV that really riles up Mississippi. Sorry, Mississippi. I love The Cosby Show. I thought it was really good. Another thing that's 30 years old, a bunch of famous people that are 30 years old, namely people that were born in 1984 are 30 years old. LeBron James is 30, or will be 30 this year. Mark Zuckerberg, Aubrey Plaza, I don't know who the hell that is. Prince Harry, Randall Monroe, I don't know who that is. Who's Trey Songz? I don't know who the fuck Trey Songz is. Sarah Jean Underwood, Mandy Moore. Who are they? Olivia Wilde, Kid Cutie. Who are these people? Okay, all I know out of those people are Mark Zuckerberg, Scarlett Johansson, and LeBron James. And Katy Perry. And Prince Harry. Who's Randall Monroe? Who's Sarah Jean Underwood? Should I give crap about Sarah Jean Underwood? She was born on March 26th. Next year I'm going to send her a letter. Hey, you're 31 this year. I still don't know who the hell you are. Happy birthday. Another thing that is 30 years old is the Wendy's commercials, Where's the Beef? I remember those when I was a little kid. That was annoying back then. It's annoying now. That lady's dead. Okay, next. Ronald Reagan's bombing gaffe. Ronald Reagan's bombing gaffe. During a mic check on his weekly radio address, President Reagan joked, "My fellow Americans, I'm pleased to tell you today that I've signed legislation that will outlaw Russia forever. Begin bombing in 5 minutes." While the clip wasn't broadcast at the time, the recording was leaked. That's not a bomb gaffe. That's not a gaffe. It's funny. If the president wants to joke about destroying the Soviet Union, then he can. That's fine. Now listen, I don't want all you anti-Reagan people to be like, oh, that's why the guy sucked. And everybody that is a huge Reagan fan, I don't want you to be, that's why Ronnie was the best president ever. Stop it. If he was the best president ever, he would have got a wife that kept her boobs. Okay? That's why if Brad Pitt ever becomes president, he's going to suck. She's got no boobs. But anyway, let's see. What else here? The Mac computer is now 30 years old. Apple unveiled the Mac on January 24th, 1984 at a demo event, and Steve Jobs removed the Mac from a bag, inserted a 3.5-inch floppy disk. Listen, kids, if there's any children out there, I want you to plug your ears for this. So far, Steve Jobs sound like a creep, okay? Let's say this in a sexy way. Do I have a sexy voice? I don't have a sexy voice. And I don't. Can I make a sexy voice? Is this a sexy voice? This might be a sexy voice. Is this a sexy voice? Yes. No. But for $1.99 a minute, I'll sure the hell make it a sexy voice. All right. But, okay, back to my normal. Is this my normal voice? That's why I shouldn't be touching those dials in the middle of the show, because now I don't sound right. I think the mid's up too high. How's that? That's my normal voice. Is that my normal voice? My normal voice? That's still too bassy. That's that right there. That's my normal. That's my voice. That's my voice. Yep, that's my voice. Sorry, I was doing a sound check by myself with all of you listening. At a demo event, Steve Jobs removed the Mac from a bag, inserted his 3.5-inch floppy disk. No wonder he was a nerd. And booted the machine. The Chariots of Fire theme played. Mac. Sometimes when I'm doing it, that song is going through my head. It's usually when I've had too much beer. Mac ran an impressive AV demo, whatever you want to call it, and finally said, "Hello, I'm Macintosh. It is sure great to get out of that bag." Should have introduced yourself before Steve Jobs put his 3.5-incher on you. Unaccustomed as I am to public speaking, I like to share with you, Max. Whatever. But anyway, the first Mac was priced out at $2,494. That's over $5,600 in today's dollars, and it had 128 kilobytes of RAM. That ain't shit. I've had Batman watches with more power than that. Mac Cosmetics also is 30 years old. Who cares? Doug Flutie's Hail Mary Pass is 30 years old. Yeah, they beat Miami. Who cares? This is Spinal Tap. That is a hell of a movie. I'm going to turn this bitch up to 11. All right. That's an awesome movie. 30 years old, you don't say. Legal taping of TV. Now this one was interesting. The Supreme Court decided a crucial case in January of 1984 known as the Betamax case. The court considered whether home VCR users could legally record TV shows for the purpose of watching them later. A practice known as time shifting. Man, I would love to shift time. I'd go back in time and slap the hell out of some people. The court decided that recording episodes of The Cosby Show was just fine, except for Mississippi. And use of VCRs continued to take off. In an ironic twist, movie studios, who had originally brought the case to the Supreme Court, raked in tons of money selling home video copies of movies using the same technology they had tried to kill. Now everybody learned something. The Video Music Awards, also known as VMAs for anybody that has ever known MTV without videos, is 30 years old. The Print Shop. Broadbug desktop publishing package, the Print Shop, epitomizing 80s era computing. It allowed users to make cards, signs, and banners. Before printing, it showed a colorful thinking screen. It looks, see, that's the thinking screen right there. Yeah, no, you know what? I know what kind of program that was, and that's something that Mac definitely wanted to stay away from. You know, at that time period, the 80s, we didn't know what was what and who was who. According to Internet Archives, in 1988, Broadband announced that it had sold more than 1 million copies, and that sales of the Print Shop comprised 4% of the entire United States software market in 1987. Damn. Alex Trebek started his version of Jeopardy in 1984. It was also out in the 60s and 70s, but yeah, so there. The Pressure Luck Incident. I've watched this documentary, and this is a very good documentary, folks. The Pressure Luck Incident. In 1984, creepy ice cream truck driver named Michael Larson. Man, is he a creepy looking dude. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. If you're watching this on YouTube, look at that guy. That guy, there's nothing about that guy. This guy looks like a bad guy boxer on the early levels of like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. You see that guy right there on the screen? And those the laughs, like the bald bull laugh. That's what the guy looks like. It is my sexy voice. Yeah, but anyway, 1984, ice cream truck driver Michael Larson set a record by winning $110,273. Now, if $2,500 in 1984 is the equivalent of just over $5,600, got a question for you, kids. What is $110,000 in 1984 money worth now? a combined, I don't have the answer. I'm just asking you people. If $2,500 equals $5,600 in today's dollars, $110,000 in 1884 money is what in the year 2014? I want to know. So if anybody has that answer, let me know. But anyway, it was a combined total of cash and non-cash prizes and one appearance on the game show Pressured Luck, and he did it by gaming the system. His appearance aired in June, 1 month before Reagan's National Ice Cream Month. Could have sent his day job. Well, anyway, Larson recorded episodes of the show on his VCR. Thank you, Supreme Court, and noticed that the pattern on the board repeated. So he memorized them, went on the show, and won a pile of money. There is a documentary about it. I don't remember the name. I watched it on YouTube because I just couldn't find the documentary anywhere. I ended up watching it on YouTube at 5-10 minutes at a time. Just Google guy cheats Pressured Luck or Pressured Luck documentary, and I'm sure you'll be able to get that somehow. But that was a good very good documentary. Law of the Moon means nobody's going to fight over the moon. That came out in 1984. The Death Star hypothesis. I'm not going to get into it, but it was a pretty neat hypothesis. Go to the Death Star hypothesis about that. Canadians in space is 30 years old. Man, friends to the north, they're always a few years behind. Canada sent its first astronaut, Mark Gourneau, is currently a member of the Parliament in Canada, but 30 years ago he was aboard the Space Shuttle Challenger, becoming the first Canadian in outer space. After the initial mission, he flew 2 more, logged in over 677 hours in space. 677 space hours is 1 Canadian hours. Don't know. I don't know. I don't think Canada knows that either. Damn. It took them that long? Dude, we were already doing jumping jacks on the moon, and Canada sent its first astronaut into space in 1984. That's nothing to be proud of. It's like, say China goes to the moon. This shit's old, dude. That's really old. Be a trailblazer. Go to Mars. TED Talks is 30 years old. Technology, entertainment, and design. I know it's the latest thing to watch, TED Talks on YouTube. But yeah, the first one came out 30 years ago. It was so bad in terms of money loss. The next one wasn't held again until 1990, and since then it's been an annual event. Now it's a place where fucking nerds go and crack jokes that non-nerds don't really get. If you had a bunch of jocks at a TED Talks, they would be so pissed because you'd have people like, listen, I love like astrophysics. I love marketing. I love certain aspects of technology. Actually, I love all the aspects of technology. Whether I agree with, a little box being able to take over people's jobs, that's neither here nor there. But the concept of TED Talks is pretty interesting. Get a bunch of smart people to listen to a entertainingly creative person talk for like an hour. Yeah, that's phenomenal. Isn't that what a college lecture hall is? This is like a lecture hall for people that can't go to college anymore. They've gone, ooh, Sarah Jean Underwood is sexy as blank, and you need to know who she is. Okay, so the equivalent is, okay, somebody sent this in. Thanks, Mike. I think he was saying $2,500 in 1984 is equal to $5,600 today. So, and I asked, I think it was 110,000 and some odd and change, is the equivalent to $246,000. So that guy won the equivalent. He cheated Pressured Luck out of the equivalent of $250,000 in today's standards. Not too bad. I like that. What else is 30 years old? Transformers is 30 years old this year. That's great. That's awesome. Now what do you call them? Because you can't call them Transformers. You got to call them gender unspecific robotic vehicles. They don't like to be called Transformers anymore, okay? You can't call a Transformer because the LGBT movement, the Legos, games, bats, and Transformers movement. That's what it is. That's the LGBT community now. They get sick and tired of when you call these gender-neutral robotic cars Transformers. You can't do that anymore. They're robotic vehicles. All right, they're not trannies. They're not Transformers anymore. Okay, they're former Transformers. They're FTFs. All right, former Transformers. They're role unspecific robotic vehicles. That's what they are. They're not a robot. They're not a vehicle. They can be whatever they want. Okay? Shit. You see Optimus Prime driving down the street anymore? You can't say, hey, dude, you're a big truck that turns into a robot. He'll get mad at you. You can't do that. The dude wants to be known as a helicopter from now on. All right? So listen, be nice, be politically correct, and stop using the T word when, you refer to the FTFs, the former Transformers. Anyway, the Transformers are 30 years old. Right? Go watch the movies. But I don't even know why they use that title. The next Transformer movie that's coming out is Gender Unspecified Robotical Vehicle Action Movie. That's what it's called. It's ridiculous. Part 4. That's just absolutely insane. I don't know if Mark Wahlberg is going to sign on because apparently that dude's not very politically correct and keep calling them trainee robots, trainee bots. The dude's just a fucking meathead. We have no place in today's society for meatheads like Mark Wahlberg going around and calling robots trainees. That's just mean. But anyway, another thing that's 30 years old, movies, The Karate Kid, Footloose, Purple Rain, Revenge of the Nerds, and a few other movies. Listen, I saw Karate Kid in the movie theaters, and I loved the Karate Kid, the first one. Then I realized Daniel-san wanted Mr. Miyagi's main chopstick. And then it kind of ruined it for me. Revenge of the Nerds is such a dumb movie. It's just dumb. Footloose is dumb. Splash, dumb. Ghostbusters, listen, people are like, oh, Ghostbusters, it's got Bill Murray. It's so cool. Shut up, you hipster twats. Ghostbusters is not a good movie. It's really not a good movie. How Slimer became this big character from the movie. The dude was in the movie for like 30 seconds and he got smoked. Yeah, my hero is a bad guy that was in there for 30 seconds. That's like having a zombie t-shirt with a zombie from season 1 of The Walking Dead. Like, zombie, like, where was he in? Oh, he was in episode 2 of season 1 for 15 seconds. But I love him, man. He's so cool. They're going to have him in the spinoff. This is dumb. Screw the Ghostbusters and screw Bill Murray. You're not funny. Actually, you are, but I can't stand it. Like, ooh, look, I'm wearing my Chai Van shirt, and I got a hat with Bill Murray. I'm so cool. No, you're not. And if I ever see anybody with a Bill Murray T-shirt, I wish I'll have a Louisville Slugger in my hand. Okay, because I'm going to do my best impression of Caddyshack, and I'm going to beat you like a gopher. If you love Bill Murray so much, you wouldn't mind being pummeled like you're a gopher in Caddyshack. I can't stand you idiots that wear those chive shirts. Chive on. Ooh, Bill Murray. Shut up. Ghostbusters sucked. Books. It says things that are 30 years old. And look, it says books. So 31 years ago, I don't know what the hell you were doing. You weren't reading a book. Okay? Oh, yeah. What books are 30 years old? The House on Mango Street. Who cares? The Butter Battle book. Hackers, Heroes of the Computer Revolution by Stephen Levy. Yeah, okay. I'm sure that's topical. I'm sure that holds up to today's computerized knowledge. The Hunt for Red October by Tom Clancy. Pfft. The Talisman by Stephen King. Pfft. That's what I say about that. What else? What else is that? Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen. I was born in the
say I was. Screw you, Bruce Springsteen, and your damn laryngitis voice. I was born. If you ever listen to that song, you know, I love people that like, oh, yeah, Bruce, the boss, you're so patriotic. Yeah. You sound just like Bruce Springsteen. That is not a patriotic song. That's about a dude that listened to Born in the USA. Originally, that was going to be like running in Vietnam or something like that. That's, I think, the original title. He had to lighten it up a little bit. If you listen to it, especially if you're Asian and you listen to Born in the USA, chances are you're going to be offended. I think he calls him. I think he says Charlie and Gook, and at least one time, something like that in the song. I should go on YouTube and listen to Born in the USA with the lyrics. So like karaoke style, the lyrics will scroll as the song goes by. I don't really see anything too patriotic about that song. So if you're a red-blooded American and you love Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen, a high probable chance that you're one of those people when you actually hear the lyrics of songs like, oh, that's what he was saying? Shit. Damn. Like, you're one of those people, like, you love Teen Spirit from Nirvana, but you have no idea what the hell Kurt Cobain's talking about. It's like, what's Kurt Cobain talking about? I really don't know, but I like that song. Sounds like he keeps saying hot potato. You know? Do you like hip-hop? Oh, I love hip-hop. What do they say? I have no fucking idea what they say. But, listen, if you're patriotic, you should not like Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen. You're a fake patriot, okay? You're a fake patriot, all right? I'm on fire in Glory Days. Glory days! In the middle of the night, glory days! I got my finger on my butt, glory days! Glory days! Shut up, I hate Bruce Springsteen. Ugh. I really can't stand Bruce. Oh, okay, now I got another. It's not $2,500. What I'm seeing now for that answer for I got people send me. Someone goes, it's $246,000 in today's money for what did that guy win in today's dollars? What I got was $246,400, and they called that last person an idiot. So, sorry, you're an idiot. You're $400 off. What else? Bruce Springsteen Rolling Stone called Bruce Springsteen the voice of a decade. Great. That decade being the 80s, when we thought gay people gave you AIDS, badass rockers dressed up as pretty chicks, and yeah, and we still thought Liberace was straight. You're the voice of the 80s. If Bruce Springsteen is the voice of the 80s, if I ever go back in time and, say I get punished in a futuristic court and they say your punishment is to go back in time, the way they could punish me, here's your life sentence. You got to relive 1980 to 1989 over again. And if you're old enough to where it was like those were your teenage years, because I wasn't quite a teenager in the 80s, thank God. I still had another year or two. I had 2 more years. If you were a teenager or 20-something in the 80s, you're like, that's my decade, man. Yeah, that's your decade. Wear really short shorts and have a damn comb out of your back pocket with your tube socks pulled up all the way, with your pony high tops and your feathered mullet and your goofy mustache. That goes for the chicks, too. One of those jerseys with the big holes in it where your nipples popped out of the holes. If that was your decade, you're done. I want you running my country, and I don't want you doing anything to affect my future or my child's future. I don't want any of that stuff. So Bruce Springsteen is the perfect voice of the 80s, in other words, because the 80s sucked, and so does Bruce Springsteen. Oh, 30 years ago, George Michael started being a big deal. That's great. In the 80s, when all the chicks thought George Michael was straight. people in the 80s were pretty dumb, all right? If they thought George Michaels and Liberace were straight, dude, there were some dumb girls in the 80s. I'm sorry if any of you girls are out there were alive and old enough to think that George Michaels was your man in the future. If you thought that in the 80s, sorry, lady, you're dumb. Do me a favor, do a backflip off of a cell tower. Also 30 years old. The concert Band Aid is 30 years old. That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, that's it. I think yeah. Okay, yeah. Bruce Springsteen said yeah to kill Yellow Man in Vietnam. Like he had in Vietnam, I killed Yellow Man or something like that. To kill Yellow Man in Vietnam. Like he was, he rhymed stuff, but Bruce Springsteen is a racist rhymer. He is. I'm sorry. If you people, the boss. If anybody walks around and goes, the boss is the man. That dude's racist. Beat him with a club. Just club anybody. Anybody that likes Bruce Springsteen is a racist and don't like Asian people. If you are Asian or your friends are Asian, I suggest you beat Bruce Springsteen fans with not even clubs. Just get boards with nails out of it. That's what you can do. Also, the song from Band Aid, Do You Know It's Christmas, with every famous musician in there singing off key. Yeah, the Quaggas, Second Life. That's that weird donkey zebra. You see a picture of it. It's like the front half of it is a zebra, the back half is like a donkey. It's really confusing. That thing looks so sad. Dell Computer, 30 years old. The Muppet Babies are 30 years old. Really? That shit came out in 1984? No kidding. I hated that. My sister loved Muppet Babies. I hated Muppet Babies. Also, the Baby Bell telephone system started in 1984 because AT&T was broken up because it was a monopoly. Which you had the Baby Bells, which was like Bell Atlantic, Bell Southern. I don't know the other bells. I was the East Coast guy. Bell, I would assume like Pacific Bell, whatever. I don't know. I just remember Bell Atlantic, Bell South, and then like Bell Atlantic turned into NYNEX, I want to say, which turned into I think like AT&T or Verizon. Now, today, three big phone carriers can trace their roots to those baby bells: AT&T, CenturyLink, and Verizon. So that's funny. Government split up AT&T because it was a monopoly, and it turned it into seven independent regional companies, and all those regional companies started buying out other companies and each other, and guess what? They're basically a couple companies again. They're just it's again AT&T. That's funny. AT&T can trace its roots to AT&T is basically what this article said. Like AT&T was broken up into 7 independent regional holding companies in 1984. Today, 3 big phone carriers can trace their roots to the baby bells. AT&T is the first one. So AT&T can trace its lineage to AT&T. Holy mother of God. This is... Dude, Chuck... Really? Oh, and then the last one. Ghostbusters is 30 years old. I already talked about Ghostbusters and how I dislike it because Bill Murray. Because Bill Murray's ironic. The dude's so cool. He just crashed his bachelor party. If I'm having a bachelor party and Bill Murray walked in, I'm like, hey, listen. Old dude, get the hell out. Your breath looks old. Just get out. If you like Bill Murray, if it's like, oh, you don't know how awesome Bill Murray is. Yeah, Bill Murray was funny. But that's like saying Chevy Chase was good. Yeah, Chevy Chase was good. Chevy Chase, no longer good. To me, Bill Murray, no longer funny. I'm sorry. If I had a choice, you know who I want to who I would want to crash my bachelor party? I would want Louis C.K. or Bill Burr. Or I would want Louis C.K. or Bill Burr to crash my my bachelor party. That would be fun. Louis C.K. walks in like, hey, can I sit here and have a drink? Why, of course you can, Mr. C.K. If Bill Murray walks in and says, hey, can I sit down and have a seat? Like, no. Nope. Sorry. Can't do it. But listen, we got 4 minutes left. I'm about to wrap things up, and I got my last little sip. So listen, everybody. Cheers. cheers to you and cheers to me. I'm not going to do anything stupid, but cheers. Thank you for listening to the show and enjoying the show so much. I'm going to wrap this up in a second, okay? Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Next week, I don't know who I'll have. Next week, I might have a band. I don't want to. Okay, fuck it. I'll just talk about it. There's this movie that I love. It's a documentary. It's called A Band Called Death. I'm gonna go watch it again, like right after this. It's called A Band Called Death. DEATH. It's about a black punk rock band, a three-piece set out of Detroit. Three black brothers, no pun intended. Three black brothers started a punk band. Well, what is now called a punk band back in the early 70s, and it is a phenomenal movie. I absolutely love the movie. I think it's phenomenal. What is this? Is this real? Hold on. Radio Daddy James just sent something. Is this real? Mexican army troops invading Arizona, shooting at U.S. citizens. This is unreal. Why aren't we hearing about this? According to documents obtained by KVOA in Tucson, Arizona, the Mexican army has been caught crossing over into the U.S. 300 times in the past 18 years. That's caught, and certainly doesn't include hundreds, maybe thousands of times they haven't been caught. 3 U.S. citizens were shot at, and 1 individual was injured in March, causing the injured victims medical bills of $43,000. No investigation is going on as to why the Mexican army is crossing the border, and only sources say that there's an investigation of the shootings that occurred in March. That's really strange. The Mexican army, listen, Mexico, you want to fix the Mexican army crossing over and shooting at dudes in Arizona? Just let Texas go on them. The last time they unleashed Texas on Mexico, we got Texas. Guess what? It was like Don West selling baseball cards. You know the guy, I got a McGuire rookie, I got a Sosa rookie, I got a Barry Bonds, I got a Tony Gwynn. Too soon? I got a Mike Piazza rookie card. This one's straight. Not like him. You got all, I got all these cards. Listen, you know what? The last time Texas whooped this, just smacked the hell out of Mexico. You know what we got? I got a Texas. I got a Arizona. I got a New Mexico. I got a Oklahoma. I got a Nebraska. I got a Colorado. We got a bunch of states. We whipped their ass, and what we got now is what are now current states of like Texas, Oklahoma, Arizona, New Mexico, I'd like to say, Colorado, Nebraska, Nevada, Utah. I think a lot of those western states. I don't think California. That was their own separate fight. I don't know how far north it went. I think it went up into Kansas. Was the Mexican territory that we basically from letting a bunch of illegal white aliens leave like Tennessee and Kentucky going to Texas, Mexico, and then like, no, we don't like you guys. We're gonna take this from you. So Mexico, keep messing around and let your damn soldiers cross over to America and shoot at our civilians, and we're going. You know what? We're gonna open up Texas. You want the border open? Fine, you got the border open, but bunch of drunk Texas dudes with some shotguns and AR-15s and some 6-shooters are going to be knocking on your door. You don't want that to happen. Like I said, the last time that happened, you shrunk. This time, listen, we're coming from Monterey. We're coming from Baja, California. Shit, might as well just take Cancun. Mexico, do yourself a favor. Stop letting your troops cross the border, because if they don't stop, Texas is going to go whoop your ass. Just don't call the movement the Dallas Cowboys, because then Texas will lose. All right? Call them something else. Call them the Spurs, and then they'll win. You call them the Texas Cowboys. I mean, the Texas Cowboys. Cowboys don't really do too much winning. But anyway, before I get going, I want to say thanks. Oh, and back to the documentary real quick. I was talking about. Watch A Band Called Death. Watch that movie. It's a documentary on Netflix. A Band Called Death. And there's a band. I'm not gonna ruin the movie at all for you, but there's a band that's related to A Band Called Death called Rough Francis, and I think I'm gonna have Rough Francis on. To me, that's awesome. So it's whatever, folks. Okay, and I'm already a minute over my time, but I think I might be. I think Rough Francis is going to be on next week. Okay, I've just been so busy with getting ready to get out of the Army and go to college and move and all that stuff. I haven't had a whole lot of time to really book guests or anything like that. I'm trying. And then I got a bunch of pisshead soldiers at my unit that are bugging me. So I usually get a majority of my bookings done at work, and now I have to work. The audacity of some people. Okay? But anyway, go to tactical16.com. Check out tactical16.com for all your veteran writing pleasures. All right? And then go to vetsonmedia.com. Check out vetsonmedia.com. Do it. I'm serious. Go to radio listings and see all the shows. I'm not going to name those shows because those shows really don't plug me too much. That's on radio with my radio daddies, Adam and James. They plug the hell out of me. Not that way, but they plug my show heavily. So I thank you guys awesome for the support and the ability to give me a platform to be able to talk to everybody. So go to podbean.com and subscribe to the show, and you can download it and you can listen to all the shows. Or go to iTunes and check out iTunes. It's Tactical 16 Radio on iTunes and on Podbean. So check it out any way you can. All right, kids? I'm going to get going. But before I do, I just want to say I will see you guys next week. And until then, take care of yourself and each other. No, sorry, that don't work. I'm not Jerry Springer. Listen, take care of yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to hear me next week. You're going to be hauled up in a hospital or something like that. So I'll see you guys later. Until next week, bye, kiddies. Now.
For my family, for my friends, for those that we lost our slave. This is a message. This is for you. Never forget the Lower East Side Crew. For my family, for my friends, for those that we lost our slave. This is a message. This is for you. Never forget the Lower East Side Crew. I remember